Jason is running things at MPB, which I'm glad is happening tonight. And Chris is running it in the studio, which is always a good thing. Ty's on the telephone, lining up the calls, and Noah is also in the building. So got a lot to talk about tonight. We gave out some Cricket Wireless Players of the Week last week. And so if you want to nominate a Player of the Week, you can do that on the website. And Dr. Dave will talk about that here in a little bit. But somebody was saying, we split it because, are you ready for this? Folks were saying you're giving too many awards to the South. Are you giving too many awards to the North? I said, okay, we'll split the state in half. We'll give a North and a South. And so that's what we did today. And I'll probably get Noah in to talk about that a little bit later on. But it's football time in the city, and we're creeping into playoffs.
Only 2 more weeks
for MHSAA.
Yeah, that's right.
MAIS, I think, was in it tonight.
Well,
I know the 8-man
yeah,
was.
8-man starts next week.
Okay, well, so a lot culminating now as we get down to the last of October. November is going to be fun, guys.
Yeah, it really is. There's some surprises tonight. There's some that did not, are not surprises, but there are some big surprises tonight. So we've got a lot to talk about.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and get the scores from the Malone Roofing scores desk.
Okay, Russ. Probably the big game of upset. They'd lost 2 games previously, but they won tonight over Brandon by the score of 25-20. Chris was telling me that they were watching that game on live stream, and Brandon had the ball inside the 10-yard line with just seconds to go.
No.
Yeah, and threw an interception at the buzzer, apparently. But Oak Grove pulls out an upset. So, that doesn't really affect Brandon's playoff situation necessarily, but that's a big win for Oak Grove for sure.
It gives hope to the people behind them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Well, probably the toughest team, or apparently the best team in the North is Tupelo.
Yes.
And they've given up only 40 points all year. They beat Murrah tonight 42-6. And I don't know how Murrah got 6, but that's like the average of what Tupelo's
That may be a story in itself.
Yeah, but Tupelo won 42-6. Hancock defeated Harrison Central 14-10. Hattiesburg. This is Russ. This is an interesting game. Who is the guy? And I hate to say it. Who's the guy that always calls in from Hattiesburg?
Mike Peterson.
Mike
He's
Peterson.
calling in tonight.
Yeah, I know. He's going to call in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he
Because
is?
Hattiesburg beat Wayne County apparently 35-6.
Whoa.
I don't know what happened to Hattiesburg.
Tony Vance's son, Tony Vance, the coach, his son came back in the starting lineup tonight. And that had a lot to do with it.
Well, that may have had something to do with it. And also by the same score, Madison Central got off the deck. They've lost a couple of games in a row, but they beat Germantown tonight. And Germantown's had a good season.
They have.
But Madison Central, of course, that's really a kind of a cross-Madison rival.
I was going to say, you don't even have to cross the river for that one.
35-6 was the final score. Madison Central won that one. Stone shut out Pass Christian by the score of 38-0. This was a fourth-quarter score, but Ocean Springs was way out in front of St. Martin, 43-6. Clinton played Grenada tonight. Now, Grenada's had a season where they've only won, I think, a couple of games, but they've been in every game they played. And they gave Clinton fits tonight, but the Arrows ended up winning, and the Arrows really needed to win this game, and they did by the score of 12-6, which sounds like a, sounds like a baseball score.
An offensive thriller.
Yeah, a lot of defense tonight, but that was a game that Clinton really needed to win.
Yeah.
Lake Cormorant beat New Hope 35-3. South Panola kind of mashed DeSoto Central 35-0. Warren Central, I think we may hear from Reed Vance in just a few moments. Warren Central shut out Terry 35-0. Fourth quarter score, Starkville was leading Oxford 47-28.
Whoa.
Gulfport in the fourth quarter was leading DeIberville 40-21. Van Cleve beat Pearl River Central 44-17. South Haven won over Lewisburg 48-0. Laurel beat West Jones by the score of 20-7. And let me give you one more. McGee beat Wesson 41-27. So have you got a call now?
We do.
Okay.
You get to talk to an unhappy Ty boy.
Well, I didn't say that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hazelhurst beat Crystal Springs 49-0.
Yeah, there's no dance tonight in Crystal Springs. They've canceled it. As
Yeah.
they cancel it, Ty.
Yes, they did, Russ.
What has happened to this Crystal Springs team? They came out of the chute pretty good, but it sounds like their defense giving up a lot of points.
Yeah, defense, they've got freshmen and sophomores on defense, and yeah.
Well, now, does that ruin their playoff hope tonight?
Maybe, but if we beat McGee next week, we still in the hunt for playoffs.
You may be a 4 seed if you beat McGee next week, but that's going to be a tall task.
Yeah.
Well, I know that this may be a rough weekend for you, Ty. I mean, losing tonight, and then those dogs have their work cut out for them tomorrow over at Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about going.
Oh, wow. You better get in the car tonight. That's a long way over there, Ty.
Oh, I know.
All right, buddy. Thank you. You can go ahead and say it's going to be a long day for both of us.
Yeah. Did you find out anything on the earlier this week, Crystal Springs and Weston?
No, I did not.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll have to keep looking into that and let you know.
Okay. Go down.
Thanks, Ty. Texas got a tough afternoon tomorrow, too. So,
Dr. Dave.
Dr. Dave.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're good. Is it cold up there?
It's 37.
Oh.
That's warm for the bunker.
Well, I sat down and warmed my seat while my girls roller skated, and I was watching the Brandon game. What a game! My gosh. Both of those teams look like they're in playoff form right now. I mean,
yeah.
It was a real. I mean, you could see the effort of both sides. It's a credit also to the coaches. They really prepared for each other in that game.
Well, it's interesting you should mention Coaches Day, because I was leaving the Hartfield game, and one of the Hartfield people knew I was headed here to the Scoreboard show, and he made a comment. He goes, Prep got him a real good football coach, and he came, and we had him on the show a couple weeks ago. I really like him, Doug Goodwin, and played at Auburn, coached at Auburn, won some state championships at Homewood, and then was hired off of the Lane Kiffin staff at Ole Miss. And boy, he has turned that Prep program around. Prep won tonight over Hartfield.
Yeah, 28-19 was the final there.
Yeah, it was a great game. MRA's, beating Park Lake. We didn't get a final on JA, did we? At one point, I heard it was.
Got one yet.
At one point, I heard it was 13-10 Bobcats. So
Okay.
we'll have to keep an eye on that. Tommy Barnett will be calling in on that one. But Dave, tell the folks about the game of the week and how they can watch it.
So the game of the week you can always find on. You can either look for our posts from Facebook, or you can just go right to the FNUTL site. And usually what we have is we have it listed on the very first thing. It's the game of the week. So this one was Brandon going to that great game against Oak Grove. Next week, I guess number 2, which will be now number 1, Tupelo plays next week, and they play Clinton, which won this week as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh boy, that's a toughie.
Woo! Yes. And then our final game is going to be Gulfport, which just won, and I think they're 8-1, versus Biloxi, which beat Pascagoula 15-14, and they're 7-2, so they're like 15th right now in our 6A brackets now. So we're going to have 2 great games just coming up. Just come on in on a Friday night at 7 in the afternoon. Go to our website, and you'll be able to watch the games there. It's the best in high school football in Mississippi.
And that's the game of the week. And then we will be picking a player of the week on the north half of the state and the south half of the state. So plenty of love to go around for everybody. Cricket Wireless making that possible. And we just, Noah is working on that. And we're going to bring him in here in a little bit to talk about it. But they can find out all that information on the website, correct?
Correct. Just go to www.FNUTL.com or find it out there on your web browsers or your mobile phones.
Well, we got those 2 All-Star games coming up, Dr. Dave, and, Friday night under the lights are one we producing it. But, Dave, I don't know if you heard or not, but MPB is actually going to be carrying the games for us here at MPB on the radio side.
Great.
Yes.
It's you're just returning home to that. I mean, MPB is, as long as we've been doing this, they've been our partners. So it's a great situation. I'm glad to hear it.
They're also carrying the state championships, and that's good because, I'll tell you, the streaming and everything is great, guys, but there's so much going on in December that people are in and out of their cars, they're Christmas shopping or whatever. And so with MPB carrying those championship games, they haven't perfected live streaming in the cars yet. So MPB is the way to go on that. So, you'll be able to listen to them. I don't know. I haven't checked with Jason on it. He's asleep on me now right now. But no, I'm just kidding. I don't know if they will be on your website.
They will
be. Okay, they will be. All right. So that's great. That's great. MPB is really jumping in there, Dave, and they're really becoming popular with local and statewide sports, and that's a great thing. So tell folks about the brackets, where they can find the brackets for the playoffs.
The brackets will start coming up this week. I think Joel will talk about it. We've got 8-man football coming up real soon. And we will probably in the next, we've got only 2 weeks left. And as soon as that last game is played, all the brackets will be up. And they're going up one at a time.
Great. So if you want to know who's in it, where they're going, how to get there, go to the FNUTL website. It's all on the website, and that's right at your fingertips. Also, Dave, we got the app.
You bet.
So
go out to either Android or on Apple, and you can just type in FNUTL, and we'll have the app there.
There you go. So a lot of places you can go to get this show, and also the All-Star games coming up, and it's just the best time of the year. It's just the best time of the year.
I love it.
Yeah.
October Madness. I just love it. You're right.
I just think it's just crazy, and this is just me.
Yeah.
But here's a guy in the mountains of North Carolina just sitting down and watching a high school football game in South Mississippi live.
Yes.
He's only rivaled by Isabella.
I know.
and guess what? I'm drawing a crowd. Okay?
Well, we don't know where Isabella is tonight, but she'll probably be calling in. She loves those Warren Central Vikings. And where was she? Was Utah last week?
Utah, yeah. First call ever.
Liz was
Utah.
here.
Yeah.
And she was running back there, and we said, hey, you got a caller from... I know Chris will let me know if Isabella calls. But so, Isabella, if you're out there driving that truck tonight, I think you're going to be excited about the Warren Central.
Keep the eyes on the road.
That's right. Don't run off the road. Dr. Dave, we appreciate all that you do here for Friday night under the lights. And more and more people going and checking out that website every week to find out who's playing who and where and all that sort of stuff. And you're kind of redesigning the website. So we just got to get some current pictures of us. I mean, I look like I'm 17 in that thing, And,
Maybe
do you really want to change out the
Oh gosh.
I think everybody that knows me knows I'm really over 25. So
yeah, I think so.
Well, Dave,
we all have faces made for radio. Okay?
We're killing live stream, but we're made for radio. Dr. Dave, have a great weekend. Where's Appalachian State this week?
Oh, we just played last night. 2 days ago, we played Texas State, so we get a breather, and then we're hitting Coastal Carolina, and we're back in the thick of it. It was a bad couple of weeks, but I think we found our feet. So
I knew it was bad when I called Dave, and he goes, I said hello, and he goes, yeah, what do you want? I knew you were calling the game. So, all right, we're going to take a time out here. Dave, have a great weekend, my friend.
Thanks, brother. You too, man.
We are going to take a time out. When we come back, Reed Vance is scheduled to call. Tommy Barnett is scheduled to call. Jared Schatz in this next segment. But if you want to jump in there, 877-672-7464. Friday night under the lights continues in a moment.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
With my Cricket plan, everything is consistent. It's always going to be the same price. No worries.
Cricket is easy, it's affordable, customer service is top-notch. That's why I've been with them for so long.
I got my phone from Cricket and it's amazing. As a journalist, I use it for basically everything.
Great phones, great deals. Now that's a story. Smile. You're on Cricket.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back, come back. Come back. Come back for come back. Come back. Come back. Come 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 come
You get to know these folks.
come 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 back. come, 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 come back, come, 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 come back, come, 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 Come back. Come. 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 Come back. Come back. Come back.
Keep it right here. Friday night Under the Lights continues in a moment.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I love how Cricket has no hidden fees, no hidden charges. It's just predictable.
With Cricket, I can stay in touch with my grandson as much as I want without being concerned that my bills go up.
The 5G is like fast. It makes sharing photos of our projects and video calls super easy.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community. Embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet, made possible tonight by Malone Roofers. They're more than just roofers. They're part of your community. Got a lot of games, a lot of folks to get to, and you're going to lead with Tommy, right?
No, Reed.
Oh, Reed Vance. Okay, Reed was
Reed.
Another good night for the Vikings, Reed, and this team is for real.
Yeah, it really is. I think this is one of the broadest teams in terms of talent that you're going to find in 6A. I think there are going to be other teams that may have, here's a team that's got a better quarterback, or here's a team that's got a better running back or better receiver. But the options that they have on offense is pretty incredible. They had 7 different players have positive yardage, from the line of scrimmage within the first 7 minutes of the ballgame. So you've got a lot of depth there, and it showed tonight with the 35-0 win over Terry.
Yeah, and don't forget, this is a Terry team that beat Pearl.
They did, but they didn't score a point tonight, unfortunately for the Bulldogs. Ben McMullen for the Vikings returned a botched snap on a punt attempt, 25 yards or so for a touchdown that got the scoring started. Jack Wright, the Vikings quarterback, who was named Mr. Warren Central. Wound up passing for 3 touchdowns, 2 to Trey Hall. Hall had a touchdown run, and Maddox Lynch had a touchdown catch as well. So the Vikings really looked as sharp as they have all season long. A few penalties I think they'll want to take care of, but this was an all-around outstanding performance by the Vikings. So Warren Central's now 7-1, and they're 4-1 in Region 3 6A play. And if I heard correctly, Oak Grove beat Brandon. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So if I wasn't a math major at Mississippi College, thank goodness. But
thank goodness.
If my math is correct, and that's a big if, then that puts Brandon, Oak Grove, and Warren Central all at 4-1 in Region 3 play.
That's exactly right. But also, Northwest Rankin is also right in there, too.
They are. So, really, I think the 4 teams that are going to make the playoffs from that region are pretty much decided. I don't know that for sure, but they're pretty much, it's just where they're going to fall.
Right.
I think a lot of Warren Central fans were kind of rooting for Brandon to go ahead and win and get out because Warren Central had beaten Oak Grove. But if those 3 teams wind up all at, it's very possible all 3 of those teams could wind up 6-1.
Wow.
And then you've got 3 teams at that same record, and I think it goes to point differential.
Oh.
Somebody's going to wind up, getting the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and somebody's going to wind up getting the 3 seed going on the road first round of the playoffs. But there's a lot of football left to play, but this Warren Central team is a fun team to watch. They have big plays that they make on defense. Offense is very, very balanced, playing their best ball of the season. And I got to mention every week they got a freshman kicker in Jonah Artman, who's 8 of 8 on field goal attempts, and he's only missed 1 of 27 point-afters this year.
Wow.
So
Good luck.
anytime you get a freshman kicker who can do that, you know things are going your way.
Things are going your way.
He's done a great job for us.
Before I let you go, have you found out whether Warren Central is going up to 7A or not?
I have not. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to have as many at 7A as they will at, say, 6A.
6A. Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I've got to believe that at some point they're going to have to say there are fewer teams in some of these divisions than in other divisions.
Well,
and my guess is they're going to be the fewer teams at the larger divisions. I don't know if they're going to be 7A or not.
I would agree with that. Hey, Reed, thanks so much. Are you working tomorrow?
We're going to Pensacola, Florida, to the Choctaws and the University of West Florida. The Choctaws have won 3 in a row.
Oh, break them up.
They put up a school record 596 rushing yards last week.
On the ground.
On the ground?
On the ground.
On the ground. That's right, George, on the ground.
That sound that you heard was Reed's tongue dragging after giving up 596. Wow.
As
Hey.
George would say, the Valdosta defense last week was like a sieve. It just went right through it.
Hey, Reed, thanks a lot for making us a part of your Friday night, and we'll talk to you next week. Good luck tomorrow.
You bet, guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Hey, let me throw one score in there, and I sort of alluded to it, but we have not mentioned this, but big showdown in Rankin County tonight. But Northwest Rankin defeated Pearl 48-34. So Pearl has had a really hard season.
Yeah.
But, Northwest Rankin got off to a tough start, but they're 4-1 in their division.
It's just that, and you've talked about it for years, George.
Yeah.
It's that preseason brutal schedule.
Yeah.
All right, who we got, Chris?
Tommy Barnett.
All right,
okay.
Tommy, we're getting about 8 different renditions of what that score is between y'all and the Bobcats tonight. But I heard you were in a cat fight down there.
Yeah, Russ. It was senior night at the Brickyard, and really just another weird game this year. A lot of football played between the 20. PCS opened the scoring. Jay shanked the punt again. PCS took over at our 39, punched it in pretty quick to go up 7-0. Jay answered right back and then went up 10-7 going into the half. And then late third quarter, PCS put together the longest drive of the night, and I want to say maybe the longest drive of the season on our defense. It was almost 10 plays, 74 yards, I believe, Russ. But went down, punched it in to go up 13-10, and what ended up being a big play, J.A. blocked the extra point.
Ooh.
So 13-10, teams just kind of exchanged turnovers, exchanged punts. A minute 42 left. J.A. lines up for a 47-yard field goal from senior Andrew Harrison. Russ would have been good from 55.
Wow.
Absolutely, split the uprights, drained it. Both teams get another possession, actually, in that last minute, 42 seconds. Neither team does anything. We'll get an overtime. PCS has to settle for a field goal. J.A. punches it in. And, of course, usually in overtime, that would have, of course, so 16-13, Jay scores to go up 19-16. But because of a possible tiebreaker, J.A. had to kick the extra point. So they lined up for the extra point, and so final score from the Brickyard tonight, in overtime for the third time this year, Jay won 20-16.
And Tommy, a lot of people may not realize it, but sitting at 0-3 in the conference, this is a huge win for you guys to break into the win column.
Absolutely, it really makes next week even bigger, Russ, because we travel to Macomb, go down to take on the big Pioneers of Park Lane, and that game will determine. I'm assuming, I haven't heard any scores tonight, but I'm assuming MRA handled Park Lane. But that game will for the 4 or 5 seed.
It was pretty tough. It was like, what, George, 45-21, something like that?
Yeah, that was the final score. MRA won.
And Prep beat Hartfield 28-19.
Okay. Yeah, so next week will be for whoever gets home field advantage. If
That's right.
Parkland wins, JA will turn around and go right back to Macomb the following Friday.
That will continue your weird season.
That's right. If JA wins, then Park Lane will come to the Brickyard.
There you go. All right. Hey, Tommy, we got to run. Thanks so much for the update. We got a score. I got to tell you, we got a score that you guys won like 50-20 or something, but it was Maddox Academy or something like that. Somebody, obviously the wrong score, but hey, you give us the right score, and that's what we need.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
Have a great weekend, Tommy. Tommy Barnett.
Thanks, Russ.
On the broadcast at Jay. You got some scores.
Yeah, let me give you some. I know a lot of people are tuning in. Probably two big games of the night. Oak Grove upset Brandon 25-20 at Oak Grove, and Prep went to Hartfield and won by the score of 28-19. Those are the two of the big games that were tonight. Let me give you a few more. Lake beat Nanawaya 35-3. It was Gentry beating Greenwood 26-12. North Pike beat Raymond by the score of 24-19. Columbus beat Saltillo 28-11. Scott Central shut out Puckett 47-0. Clinton over Grenada by the score of 12-6. Madison Central beat Germantown 35-6.
And Brandon Shields is calling in sometime. We're going to find out about Madison Central. They've had 2 tough weeks over there. I mean, I'll tell you, that 6A, it sounds like, outside of Ocean Springs down on the coast, I'm not sure anyone down there.
Well, the two teams that have really dominated everybody they played have been Ocean Springs and Tupelo. One in the south, one in the north.
That's
Brandon has won all their games, some a little more competitive than the others. But Ocean Springs beat St. Martin really badly tonight, 49-24. And, of course, Tupelo beat Murrah 42-6. They've got Clinton next week at home. The Arrows have got Tupelo and then Murrah. And so, they really needed to win the game against Grenada tonight, which they got. It was a struggle, but they won.
All right. Who we got, Chris?
Jared Schatz.
Jared. He's going to tell us about that Germantown team. How you doing, bud?
Hey, guys. How are y'all tonight?
We're good. What happened in your ball game tonight?
Well, I know you have listeners in Utah and North Carolina, and I can tell you that the Mavs wanted to go hide in either a cave or a canyon because it got ugly.
Oh, gosh. Long night?
Yeah, Madison Central. I tell you guys, it was one of those. Germantown was on a roll, won 3 in a row, turned some heads in the state of Mississippi after they shocked Oxford a couple of weeks ago. We beat Grenada last week 38-14. And then you look at Madison Central, and they were kind of coming in limping around. They lost to Clinton in a heartbreaker a couple of weeks ago, and then went up to Tupelo and didn't put up a point. 34-0. They got blanked, and we're sitting there. Wait a second. This is a football team that they're much better than what their record shows. They've lost to the number 1 team in Brandon, lost to number 2 in Tupelo, and then a loss to Clinton. No shame in that.
Nope.
And, yeah, it was exactly what we thought. It was 35-6 tonight. It was 21-0 at halftime. Very good football team, and it was kind of like a stroll down memory lane. If you remember Jake Norris, who was the tight end last year,
yep.
When Vic Sutton went down, he came in tonight. He was the starting quarterback.
That's right.
Sutton, coming off the injury, Vic Sutton, I don't think he's physically 100%. I don't think he's there mentally coming off the injury. Well, they put Norris in. It was a great move by Coach Toby Collins, and it paid off. I mean, we could not stop him. It was run left, run right, run up the middle. Big tight end, 6'2", 228. We just couldn't pull him down. They ran all over us.
Well, what do you got next week, real quickly?
Next week, we're going to take on Scoreboard and then at Tupelo to finish the year. We need a
Jared.
One more win.
One out of those two. Woo! Hey.
Good luck, right?
Have a great weekend, Jared. We'll talk to you next week.
You too, guys. Take care.
All right. We're going to take a time out here. Tonight's broadcast made possible by Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket. We'll be back.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Russ, we're going to talk to Grant, and he wants to talk about Laurel and West End.
Test. There it is.
There we go.
There we go. Granny is on the phone, wants to talk about Laurel and West Jones. And Granny, did you tell me that game was at West Jones?
No, it was at Laurel, between the bricks, and you know how tough it is when you go to Laurel.
Oh,
Russ, when Laurel goes when you play Laurel at Laurel and they're the home underdog, that means something.
It means you're going to lose.
Hey, Laurel got up 28-7 on West Jones, and here's where it got interesting at. West made a comeback. The quarterback just went over the top 2 times, two touchdown passes of 40 yards. They cut it to 28-21. All right, Laurel had to punt on 4th down, and thank goodness they checked the punt and gave West Jones a chance with about 2 minutes left. They put it on the 35, and West Jones they threw a pass in the end zone, and Laurel intercepted it. And Laurel won 28-21. Great game. I mean, both teams played well, and the quarterback for West Jones, he was really good tonight. He just went over the top, 2 touchdowns, 2 pretty passes for touchdowns.
Well, there's nothing like playing between the bricks, Granny. Where are you going to be next week? Do you know yet?
West Jones, they've got Hattiesburg next week. I'll probably be at that.
I think that would...
Mike, I guess. West Jones and Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg is the division leader now.
Yep.
West is a game behind them. But there's still, West Jones has got Wayne County and Hattiesburg left, and Laurel does too. But it's West Jones and Hattiesburg at West Jones next week.
That should be a good one. The best things. Love playing at home, playing Hattiesburg there over there. Granny, have a great weekend, my brother.
Hey, thank you.
All righty.
Kerry Metzler, and then we'll do some more scores.
Kerry Metzler and the Picayune Maroon Tide probably have the best running back in the state. Agreed or disagree, Mr. Metzler?
Well, they got a couple of good ones for us. I'm not going to say they're best in the state. I mean, look at the trio or the quad, I guess it is, a running backs the Maroon Tide's got. You look at Dante Dowdell, and I know that's who you referred to. He'll play the Miss Al game. Of course, behind him, junior Chris Davis, and behind him, another junior, Mikey Ratcliffe, and then we got a sophomore, Darrell Smith, and a fullback, Darnell Smith. So Coach Stogner has a plethora of guys that can coach him.
Can you spell that?
Yes. ELLTLR818694BR459.
Very good. Yeah, you lost me there for a moment. This Maroon Tide team, a lot of people try to compare. You and I have talked about this before. It's hard to compare teams that are state champions trying to defend, but you got the horses to run right now.
It's a good ball club, and they're and I think the biggest thing for them is just the great job that Coach Stoddard does each week, and his staff there. They're very good about keeping this team even killed. They're not trying to look ahead, and I think that's important, particularly when you're coming off a state championship year, and then a lot of expectations put out there. You're the team. Well, you got to play every Friday night. You got to go out there. You got to practice Monday through Thursday and get ready. And Coach Stoddard's done a great job of that. He's very steady hand on this ball club. Of course, he worked under Coach Lee for many years, and the program continues to thrive under his leadership. And this team's a good team. You and I have talked, and I'm not stupid enough. Well, I might be, but I'm not going to say it anyway. But I'm not going to say anything like, "Oh yeah, this is the greatest team," or this thing. Look, football is a crazy thing. That thing is shaped funny. It will bounce funny. And last year, it bounced our way. That was a great team that won it. The ball bounced our way a lot of times last year, and over the next 2 weeks, we'll play at Long Beach, then finish up with Gaucher. Gaucher, big win tonight for them over East Central. Of course, they got Caden Irvin. He's a great quarterback. They got some great skill players. That'll be a great ball game in 2 weeks. But next week, Pickey's got to take care of Long Beach, and then that'll set up the game that will decide the region championship in Pickey in 2 weeks. But there's still some big. Here at Hattiesburg, Tony, they started off slow. They're playing good now. Laurel started off slow. They're playing good, and West Jones is playing well. There's so many good teams in South Mississippi. East Central is going to make some noise before it's over. They got a quality ball club. Of course, Gaucher beat them tonight. I mean, there's so many tough ball games ahead. For anybody to look ahead, you're being foolish. I can spell that one, Foolish.
Well, that one's a little bit easier to spell.
Great. I got to ask you this, man. Last night, you put your boy Wayne under the cabana.
we did. I thought about you when we looked across the field over there, and I think they beat us because of that.
Oh, they got mad at you. Well, we were nice about it. We were up there. Anyway, it's funny. I saw the video. I saw him over. I texted Wayne. He probably didn't know what I was talking about. I like to fell out of my chair when I saw y'all had him over again. Anyway,
I told him, I said, you'll know where it is when you see the Carrie Metzler's pontoon boat over there.
Yeah, I had it tied up over there. Russ, a lot of good football teams in South Mississippi in 5A, and we just got to take it a week at a time, try to stay healthy. We've been a little nicked up. This time of year, you're going to be nicked up. I mean, it's a long season. 11 weeks, 4 weeks of practice, 9 weeks in. That's 13 weeks of football, and still quite a few to play. So that's just part of it. Coach Stoddard said you just got to kind of, get rid of those things, shrug them off, and come out there and play. And I think the Tide's done a good job of that so far.
Very good. Have a great weekend, my brother, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week and see what's going on.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, brother. Bye-bye.
George, how about a few more scores, and we'll talk to Wayne Fleury.
Okay, as mentioned, Kerry mentioned this a moment ago, but Gaucher did beat East Central tonight.
That's big.
56-35. That's your kind of game. So
I love offense, yeah.
Louisville shut out Leake Central 40-0. This was a big game. These were two 7-1 teams. The score that Noah gave me, Poplarville defeated Columbia by the score of 20-18. So that would be a big win for them. A couple of others that we have not mentioned in the last few moments, but Hattiesburg beat Wayne County 35-6. South Panola beat DeSoto Central 35-0. Warren Central shut out Terry 35-0. It was Hancock over Harrison Central 14-10. And, of course, we've mentioned this one several times, but worth mentioning again, Oak Grove edged Brandon tonight 25-20.
A lot of big games. Who do we got, Chris?
Wayne Fleury.
All right, Wayne. I missed seeing him last night. He comes up to Hines. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. But isn't it wonderful I get a chance to talk to Wayne on Friday night? And Stone had a big ball game tonight and came out on top.
Yeah, we did, Russ. Went down to Pass Christian, a couple of undefeated teams in Region 8 4A, and the Tomcats took care of business tonight. hats off to the Tomcat defense. Todd and I, talked about it the whole ball game. Pass Christian never made it past the 45-yard line.
Oh, what a long night for them.
Yeah, that it was. The Tomcats rolled up about 355 yards of offense, holding Pass Christian to just 53.
For the game?
Yes, sir.
That is a long night. Wow.
Yeah, it was a lengthy night for the Pirates on senior night, but that was your Region 8 4A championship game last night. Those two were the only two undefeated teams, and the Tomcats will wrap up the season with Bay High next week at home in Perkinston, and they kind of took it on the chin tonight to Moss Point as well. So, the Tomcats have really gotten everything together since opening with a couple of 6A schools to start their season off in St. Martin, a game which, they were in the ball game and arguably could have won it, but I think, kind of ran out of gas there in the second half. And the same thing with Biloxi the following week at home. I mean, the Tomcats were winning that game 10-0 at halftime, if I remember. And, late in the ball game, it's kind of like the guys just ran out of gas and Biloxi was able to win. But since that night, they have not looked back.
Wow. This was a team that was in the coming last year. Yeah, I turned the radio down there. Getting a feedback.
They had, a good run last year as well, but, in Region 8 4A play, there's only 5 teams, Russ,
right.
And, 4 of them are going to make the playoffs.
That's
right. Somebody's on the outside looking in. But another note, junior running back Dalen Collins had 850 yards on the season going in. That young man carried the football 31 times tonight, 178 yards. He went over 1,000 for the season, had himself a touchdown, and if you're looking for a Cricket Wireless player of the game for the South, there's a good nominee right
about that and nominate him because Noah's back there. Good to hear from you, Wayne. Sorry I didn't get to see you last night, but we'll catch up.
Yeah, no problem at all. Gary left you a note around the table.
Thanks, Wayne. We appreciate you. Hang on the line, Wayne. I want to get Noah to talk to you on that Player of the Week nomination.
All right, no problem, guys.
Thanks, brother. All right. That's Wayne Fleury. All right, what scores you got there?
Well, I got a few more to throw in. Shannon defeated Corinth by the score of 34-28. New Albany over South Pontotoc 56-14. Let's see. Let me give you a couple of more. We mentioned Picayune just a few minutes ago, but they beat George County by the score of 56-7. It was, let's see, Taylorsville beat Richton by the score of 58-7. Last report, Macomb was leading Wingfield 49-14. I think that was the final there. Columbus over Saltillo 28-11. Houston beat Ripley 28-21. Pontotoc edged North Pontotoc 21-13. One final, Scott Central defeated Puckett by the score of 47-0.
Yeah, I got good friends, got a son on that Puckett team, and they knew what was coming tonight when Scott Central came in.
Scott Central's always good.
They are. They do a good job down
good.
there. All right. Chris has given me the high sign.
It's time for a break.
It's time. I knew it.
Top of the hour.
That's right. Top of the hour. Fastest 2 hours in sports radio talk. Don't forget, at 11:30 tonight, Joel Norris and Mia Brown with his Crazy Eats. We'll take a timeout and be back with more in a moment.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for
Who's your coach on for tonight?
Tallulah head coach Bart Wood will be our coach at 11:30.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the one that's right there off I-20. You can see it to your right if you're headed toward Texas, right?
Yeah, it is the Mississippi River Showdown tonight. So
Oh.
Porter's Chapel and Tallulah. I can just give you a quick update on that. Tallulah did defeat Porter's Chapel tonight. Just for the sake of promoting, they did defeat Porter's Chapel tonight. So he'll be on to talk about that.
The river's so low, they just walked
walked
across.
across. Went to the ball game. Oh, goodness. All right. We haven't had a pedal score, but we got Harold, which is better than just trying to find the score. Harold, what happened to the Panthers tonight? Uh-oh.
Friends 24-17.
Now, you want to run that? We just brought you in a hair late. Tell us who won that ball game.
Meridian beats Pedal 24-17.
Wow.
Boy, Pedal has been in a lot of games, Harold, but they can't seem to close the deal.
Nope, but I got some scenarios for you guys.
Okay.
All right, here's some good things about it. You got the battle for Rankin County next week, which y'all did a good ball game.
I would think so.
Paul travels up the highway to Oak Road. The atmosphere out there is going to be, Oak Road, and Pearl could probably pull it off. You got Meridian, they'll take on Terry, but then Warren Central comes to Pedal.
Ooh. So what you're saying is there still is an open door for the Panthers to get that.
I don't know about that, on that part, Russ.
Wrong scenario.
That coaching staff may not want me to be saying stuff like that, but, I'll tell you something about these kids at Pedal. They come out and they play their hearts out. They have played their hearts out all season long.
And what is their record, Harold? What are the Panthers?
They are now 3-6, 0-5.
Wow. But are they young?
Well, you got a lot of seniors, but they are young. But, the running back, Pearl is a senior this year, so the quarterback. And you got the Berger, is just a junior.
Yeah.
So
it's a good, better days ahead.
Well, yeah, and then also on the coast next week, the battle on that coastline, you got two undefeated teams, guys. And that one, I wouldn't be giving it to Ocean Springs that quick.
Really?
Because if Gulfport plays football like Gulfport plays football, you gonna see something there. I'm not counting either one of those two out of being here in Hattiesburg.
I'm thinking that Gulfport is probably one of the most improved teams since early in the season.
Right, and y'all were talking about Tupelo and them. Hey, that North is going to be a decision too, but now, and Brandon, I don't know if I want to be in those West Rankin shoes next week, but guys, that's for Rankin County bragging rights.
That's right. And they're serious about that, Harold. They're serious about it. Hey, we got to run. I do appreciate the call, Harold, and please give us a buzz next week and let us know what's going on.
All right, partner. We sure will.
Thanks, brother.
Greg Flynn.
Greg Flynn with the Pearl Pirates. Good evening, my good sir.
Oh, Russell.
Long night.
Ooh, they all seem to be getting longer, don't they? Oh, my goodness gracious me.
Tough night for the Pirates. This you called it, 6 weeks ago. Going to be a tough season and trying to get a rebuilding situation going at Pearl.
It is. And you hate to use that word, but it truly is. And, trying to get all the kids to grow up. But, man, you never expect to give up 48 points to Northwest Rankin. You lose 48-34, and they're talented. They can score. That offense for Northwest is very good. Defensively, they can't really stop anybody, but very talented quarterback, running back. Wes White, their Their quarterback is very good. Deion Lewis, their running back, very, very good. He went over 200 yards tonight.
Ooh.
You know, it was just one of those things that teams have figured out a way in the early part of the season. They would throw on Pearl and beat them, and then now it's just been run them. And Northwest has huge offensive and defensive lines.
They're pretty big, aren't they?
Huge credit to them. Huge credit to them. And it's, you know, it's tough. You know, it's weird when you look at the bottom of the standings and you have Kettle and Pearl, you know, a combined 1-9.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just an unusual season. So, you know, they'll lick their wounds and try and close out strong. Maybe catch Oak Grove still basking in the glow of their upset tonight. And then it's the Rankin County
Super Bowl. That's right.
Rankin County Super Bowl against Brandon. So that'll close out the season, and then, you know, you should keep working on getting better for next year.
What's Pearl's record now, Greg, overall?
2-7.
Okay, that's what I thought. That didn't look right, but that's what it is.
No, the 2 wins, you know, against Petal and against South Fight, and it's really hard for Pirate Nation because they're, you know, they don't see two and whatever
very often. You're right. Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard for them to accept, but you know, you got to understand that the kids are trying to grow up. They're trying to learn. You can't teach size, and they are undersized in a lot of areas. And you know, you hope your skilled position players are all underclassmen. So it's just a rough time. It was going to be a rough year, and you just never thought it was quite going to be this rough. Is all.
Well, keep a stiff upper lip, keep your head up, and we will talk with you next week, my friend.
Hey, if I could just mention one thing, you
Yes.
know, I'm so honored to be able to call you guys each and every week, and you are a blessing to high school football in this state. Not only because you give scores, but the insight that you provide with coaches, with all of the broadcasters around the state, and getting a full report. And we learn a lot about the kids and the play, you know, all the players and the teams that you don't just get from the numbers, the scoreboard numbers. I mean, you guys provide such great analysis and provide us great insights for all the teams around the state.
Well, thank you, Greg. You know, and guys like yourself make us what we are on Friday night, and we do appreciate you too for making the show what it is.
Let's pray for 2 upsets to close the season. That's all I can say.
I'd be in church on Sunday if I were you.
Hey, you know what? The season won't make a difference what the record is if we can beat Brandon.
That's right. Throw everything out the window. You're exactly right. Thanks, Greg. We appreciate you, man.
You got it, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
So, George, you got a few scores, then we'll talk to Jeff Hager.
Yes, I do. Let's run down the list here. Madison Central beat Germantown 35-6. Ocean Springs over St. Martin 49-24 was the final there. Gulfport over DeIverville 40-21. Here's one I haven't mentioned, and it's worth mentioning because this is a really big game in kind of central Mississippi. Morton defeated Forest 28-14. I mean, there's no better high school football communities than that.
Those two. They're 9 miles apart.
Yeah, but Morton defeated Forest 28-14. Choctaw County defeated Bruce 41-0. McGee won again. They beat Wesson 41-27. Philadelphia over Kemper County 35-7. Lanier beat South Pike tonight.
Whoa!
Yeah, 33-8 was the final there. We mentioned this earlier. Granny went to this game. What a show. We have guys calling in by the name of Granny. He calls in religiously and he always has a good report. But Laurel defeated West Jones 28-21.
Between the bricks.
Between the bricks.
Out in Laurel. And we do appreciate Granny because he gets, and most of the time he gets into those small games that a lot of people don't know anything about.
He gives you the mize, the stringer. It's just great stuff. It really is.
All right, Chris, who do we got?
Jeff Hager.
Jeff. Let me ask you something. Have you ever done a game or been down to cover St. Martin here in the last couple of years?
I have several times, yes.
Is that grass as blue as it appears to me?
Wait, you're talking about the turf?
Yeah.
The end zones are just the. Am I losing my mind? I feel like it's green.
Maybe it looked blue to me. But it is a nice stadium and it's a nice turf, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to pull up highlights. I might just be in my own little world.
There's nothing wrong with the hue in your color. Tell us what's going to happen on the Gulf Coast tonight.
Well, I heard you guys talking about a few coast teams tonight, so I guess we can kind of dovetail off of that. But our game of the week was Gaucher East Central, so pretty much if you're assuming Picayune is going to win that region, then that game was essentially for a home playoff game between Gaucher and East Central. So Gaucher wins that 56-35. Gaucher scored the last 21 points of that game. And I know I talk about Caden Irving a lot. He does not have a Power 5 offer, probably because he's going maybe in the MLB draft. He's an Ole Miss baseball commit. But this is his second straight game with 8 touchdowns, like passing, rushing combined. But, I mean, he is absolutely lighting it up. So that sets the stage, assuming both teams take care of business, for undefeated Gaucher, undefeated Picayune in district play the final week of that season. And then, obviously, I know you guys just mentioned the Gulfport Ocean Springs game next week. So that one's going to be huge, and obviously I'm going to, take Ocean Springs until proven otherwise. But Gulfport again, I mean, beating Iberville by double digits, and they're going to come ready to play, absolutely. So those are a couple future games almost to look out for. And then you got to look at West Harrison, 54-0 over Long Beach. So now all of a sudden they tie their their school record for wins in a season. And if they can beat Van Cleve next week, they're pretty much in the playoffs. So incredible turnaround story happening there in Gulfport. And, I think you guys mentioned Stone winning their first district title since 1994 tonight with that 38-0 win over Pastor's Chan. And then Poplarville, huge win there at Columbia, 20-18, clinching that Region 7 Class 4A championship. So a lot of moving and shaking, and you're kind of starting to see really what's falling into place here these last few weeks.
Very good, Jeff. Thank you so much for that roundup. And I would assume that Gulfport game is your game of the week next week?
Absolutely. In Ocean Springs, I think 18 straight regular season wins. So.
Wow. That's wow. Hey, Jeff, have a great weekend, and thanks so much for giving us a buzz tonight.
Absolutely. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir. Jeff Hager from the Gulf Coast. We're going to step aside here, take a time out. Got a lot of things left on the show, so keep it right here on MPB Think Radio. Back in a moment.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
With my Cricket plan, everything is consistent. It's always going to be the same price. No worries.
Cricket is easy, it's affordable, customer service is top-notch. That's why I've been with them for so long.
I got my phone from Cricket and it's amazing. As a journalist, I use it for basically everything.
Great phones, great deals. Now that's a story. Smile, you're on Cricket.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Get your school on the network now.
Subscribe now to the podcast using any podcast app or the MPB Public Media app.
Okay, Russ, we got John Weaver on the phone.
All right, let's bring him in, John. The early return that I got was that you guys won, convincingly, but that Park Lane's running the ball pretty well.
Yeah, it was a great, well-improved Park Lane team. Have a really nice team, actually. Defensively, caused some disturbance, and offensively, they're moving the ball a little bit. Had one thing happen tonight that's never happened in my years of coaching or in Coach Davis's 30-plus years of coaching.
What was that?
We kicked off tonight from the 4-yard line.
Oh, by way of penalty, I assume.
Yeah, so we had a unsportsmanlike and then a personal foul.
Well, that's 30 yards.
Yep, and then we had an offside on that. So we're at the 12.5. Then they called us for offside. Then we kicked it out of bounds. Then we were kicking off from the 4.
You kick off from the...
Unbelievable.
How far did he kick it?
Unbelievable.
How far did he kick it after all that?
He kicked. We had a freshman kicker, Case Thomas, who does our kickoff duty, and his dad played at Alabama, and he kicked it past the 50.
Wow.
And, I mean, it was impressive. I was just like, what in the world? Like, we're actually kicking off from the 4. Like, this is one of those ESPN moments. Have you ever, like, that's one of those questions. Have you ever, truth or dare, kicked off from the 4-yard line?
The answer, yes. And well, John, now who do y'all play next week? Because you got one game left, and I think it's Hartfield.
Yeah, we go to Hartfield.
Yeah.
Go to Hartfield. Yeah, we with Prep winning tonight and us winning, it secured the number 1 seed for us.
Yep.
But there's a lot left for us. I mean, we treat every week from here on out like a playoff week. We have not lost a conference game since 2017. I mean, there's a lot riding. It's not just the last regular season game. It is finishing strong and getting, that bye and finishing into the postseason and finishing well. So that's the goal, I guess, of every team. You want to win a state championship. And, it starts for us next week. Treat it like a playoff week.
I'll tell you what, Maxwell, their quarterback's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, it was we were keeping up with it a little bit at halftime. And I think it was 28-19 the final.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a good one. Hey, John, we got to run. Thanks so much, man. And we definitely want to talk to you after that one next week. And I'll have to talk about this during the weekend, kicking off from the 4-yard line. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. All right. Have a great one, guys.
You too, John. Thank you, brother.
Do you want to throw a few scores in before we talk to Ray?
Yeah, I can. This is a score I've been watching. I believe this was the final. Vicksburg defeated Neshoba Central tonight. That's a big win for Vicksburg.
That's huge.
14-0. Vicksburg won that game. West Lauderdale beat Choctaw Central 48-12. Kossuth over Mantachie by the score of 35-8. Mentioned that Tupelo defeated Murrah 42-6. And, of course, Oak Grove beat Brandon, probably the story of the night. 25-20 was the final there.
And Tupelo continues to roll.
Tupelo is really rolling. I mean, they've given up 46 points in 8 games.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
All right, who do we got, Chris?
Ray Coleman.
Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray. You got a tough one tonight with Grenada.
Yeah, man, it's one of those heavyweight matchups where it's like your opponent is awkward, and I mean that in the most respectful way. It's just you can't figure them out. Anybody that plays Grenada You would think that if you're the better team, that they would have to adjust to your pace. That's not the case. It's a credit to their team and their coaching staff. You always end up playing a game where it's like you're limited in possessions. The drives take forever. Everybody's going for it on fourth down. So it was just a weird night. But the Arrows win. That's all that matters.
Yep.
The Arrows win, and now they're 4-1 on the year. And next week we play that tough team in Tupelo that you guys were talking about.
Oh, where?
In Tupelo.
At Tupelo. So they're not only the best defensive team in our region and in North Mississippi and the entire state, if you ask me, but they're also the best offensive team. So like they lead Region 2-6A in total defense and offense. So they are truly a complete team.
Ray, I got to ask you, how much did that Oxford loss take out of the Arrows last week?
I think what they realized, and you heard Judd talk about it a little bit tonight, but for these young men, I think sometimes we forget that they're 15 to 18 year olds, and they think that you get the big win in Madison Central, and then your opponent's going to lay down the following week. It just doesn't work like that, man.
Nope.
They went up to Oxford. They thought that they had it in the bag because they were playing a third-string freshman. Well, it doesn't matter. It's Region 2-6A at the end of the day, and so that's what they ran into. And it was kind of a wake-up call, if you ask me, because now they realize, hey, we can't lose another game.
Mm-hmm.
So they come out, they take care of business tonight, and so because of it, now they go on the road next week with an opportunity to win the region. For all intents and purposes, next week is for the region championship. So it's a great opportunity for the Arrows. It'll be a tough matchup for sure, and a tall task, but you have that opportunity in front of you.
And I'll tell you, Ray, we weren't even thinking that back in the early part of September. So, I mean, Coach Boswell, I think this is one of his better coaching jobs.
Isn't it funny how that works, man? You'll see guys, you'll see teams, you say on paper, it's supposed to look like this, but that's why they play the games on Friday nights, man.
That's
It's
right.
awesome to see a team when you see them week one or in fall camp and what they look like now. Everybody deals with injuries, everybody deals with adversity, but it's what makes the young men champions at the end of the year. Those teams who can see through all of that and at the end of the day still be standing and saying, give me your best shot. That's all you ever want in high school football in Mississippi. You want an opportunity to compete. And because of it, we know now that the Arrows are going to go to the playoffs. They're probably going to be the number 2 seed because they own the tiebreaker over everybody else. And like I said, you still have an opportunity to take down the giant in your region and be top dog in Region 2.
And they got a defense that could possibly do that. Ray, you're doing a great job for the Arrows. Thanks so much for making us a part of your Friday night.
Appreciate you guys, man. Talk to you next week.
Okay, bud.
Thanks,
man.
Ray.
Brandon Shields.
Brandon, you did the Madison Central Germantown game, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, tell me about this Madison Central team, because they've lost, a couple of games, and they lost, 34-0 last week, but came back and got a win tonight. What was your impression of this Jaguar team?
Well, they haven't played well last 2 weeks, so you had to see how they were responded. Face adversity, all that stuff. Everyone else had just another high school team facing adversity, which they were. But tonight they just did what won the state championship last year in the playoffs. But they started in the second round in the playoffs through the state championship game, which was stick Jake Norris at quarterback and be a physical team, and let's see if their opponent can stop them. And that's exactly what happened. And they scored on their first 2 possessions in the first quarter. Madison had 270 yards rushing tonight. Germantown had barely over 100 yards offense. And they dominated.
Sounds like it.
They just dominated the game.
So they're really back. From after that.
I wouldn't say they're fighting for the 3 seed now. They're fighting. They got to win out to be the 3 seed. If they lose, one of the last 2 could be kind of. I've got to break this down. They play Murrow next week and then finish at Oxford. So Starkville beating Oxford tonight helped them.
It did. Yep, you're right. You're right.
So that helped. Germantown could clinch it with a win. Germantown could clinch at least the 4 seed next week if they beat Starkville.
It's a big if.
Yeah, it's a big if. Starkville's kind of starting to turn it around.
Yep, they always do. Don't count Chris Jones out. Don't count him out.
No, I'm not counting them out. And they got a really good team. It's just they got to be disciplined. That's all I got. They got to be disciplined. And that's kind of been the key with them. That's what hurt them. At least in the 2 games I saw. I saw them play Madison and Clinton. And that's what kind of cost them. It was just discipline, stupid penalties.
Well,
so,
I'm sure they're getting ready to turn that around.
They turned it around. So.
Well, we got to run, Brandon. We really appreciate you getting back on the show with us and giving us that insight. And I'll call you during the week and see where you're planning on being next week. And we'll look forward to having you on again.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, Brandon. Brandon Shields.
I was talking to Bob Sullender last weekend, who does the Madison Central broadcast, or is involved in the Madison Central broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they, Madison Central played Tupelo, and Tupelo won 34-0, I think, last week. He said that Madison Central, I've forgotten exact numbers, but it was something like they had 42 offensive plays, which is not very many.
No.
And they only had 69 yards against Tupelo. That's how good Tupelo's defense is.
Wow.
So they're impressive. Really are.
Man, all right. Who we got, Chris? Oh, good. Okay, so we got a minute or so to get some scores in.
We got 45 seconds for scores, and then we'll take a break.
All right, well, let me give you a couple. Meridian defeated Petal tonight 24-17. Let's see. Let me give you a couple that I haven't given you lately. Stone defeated Pass Christian 38-0. Mentioned Jackson Prep defeated Hartfield tonight 28-19. Yeah, it was a big game.
It's huge.
And Prep ends up being Prep, and they beat Hartfield 28-19.
And Hartfield's got a great program over there. I mean, they really got it going.
Well, they've come a long way in a very short period of time.
You're right.
Absolutely.
You're right.
One more. Columbus defeated Saltillo 28-11. I'll cheat and do one more. Ocean Springs defeated St. Martin 49-24.
All right, we're going to roll into the 11:30 break. Joel Norris is up with his crazy eights, and he's got the Tallulah head coach on tonight. Stick around. Everybody's enjoying this 8-man coverage. We'll be back with it. Tonight's show being made possible by Malone Roofers. We'll be back.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky, they're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
People who come to Cricket, stay with Cricket.
I love how Cricket has no hidden fees, no hidden charges. It's just predictable.
With Cricket, I can stay in touch with my grandson as much as I want without being concerned that my bills go up.
The 5G is like fast. It makes sharing photos of our projects and video calls super easy.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community, embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but need. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, and it's 11:30, and you know what that means.
The magic hour.
The magic hour. And Joel Norris, whose show is becoming very, very popular. Now, you've got a podcast.
Yeah, podcast. Friday Night Before the Lights, based off of FNUTL on Podbean.com. You can download it on the Apple Store or the Play Store for Android, or you can go on Podbean.com and make an account and listen to it for free.
How about that?
Yeah.
And you've got a few followers.
I do. Over 100. Over 100 right now. It's the followers are keeping on coming, but it broke 1,600 downloads this week, so it's pretty big.
Wow, that is great, Joel. And
Gosh, Joel.
you really caused a stir with these 8-man football teams. So, without further ado, tell us what happened tonight.
Well, we talked to Steve Spinks last week from Christian Collegiate Academy. We talked about how they were going to play Prentice, and Prentice causes a little bit of chaos amongst 8-man teams. They won tonight. Christian Collegiate Academy did. They beat Prentice Christian in a high-scoring affair of 68-50.
Wow. So people love offense.
Oh yeah, it was an offensive showdown right there. North Sunflower Academy got it rolling again. They beat Columbus Christian Academy 60-8. They were a little mad after that Tunica loss last week. Manchester they keep it rolling. They beat Calhoun Academy 56-14. A forfeit happened in Woodsville, Mississippi. So Wilkinson County Christian Academy defeated Discovery Christian 18-0, and the forfeit score is 18-0. So if a team automatically forfeits for not having enough players, or it's 18-0.
Is that designed to help in the tiebreaker?
Yeah.
Okay. 18-0. Okay.
18-0. And then Riverdale Academy defeated Franklin Academy 48-6. We had Newton County Academy in an interesting game. They played the Mississippi School of the Deaf. So
that is a great team, by the way.
It is a
great
great
team.
team.
They have 6 national championships?
I did. 6 national championships. Yep. Newton County Academy defeated them 41-8 tonight.
Okay.
And they get things rolling back. Deer Creek defeated Hebron Christian 52-6. Prairie View Academy defeated Union Christian Academy 50-20. Lee Academy, who is probably the top team in 1A right now, they improved to 91 on the year. They're probably looking at that number 1 seed for the playoffs next week. They defeated DeSoto, the defending 1A champion, 30-20.
We had their coach on a couple weeks ago, didn't we?
I don't know if it was Lee County. I think it was Wilkinson County Christian.
County,
yeah.
Okay.
They won tonight by forfeit against Discovery Christian. And then the final Mississippi River Showdown, Tallulah Academy defeated Porter's Chapel Academy 64-20. And we have their coach on tonight. Tallulah Academy head coach Bart Wood. Coach, welcome to Friday Night Under the Lights. How are you?
Great.
Awesome. Congratulations on the win tonight. Talk about, it's a rivalry. Obviously, the players look forward to playing this game every year. Talk about this big win against Porter's Chapel Academy tonight.
Well, it's a big win. It's a playing district championship, and it was going to give us, the winner got a bye and a top seed in the playoffs.
Coach, let's just go over the schedule really quick. You're 7-1. You finished the season 7-1. You defeated Briarfield, Franklin Academy, Riverdale Academy, 58-40. Prentice Christian, Prairie View, Discovery Christian, and then you knocked off a Newton County team last week who was undefeated heading into that game. The only blemish on your record is against Manchester. Talk about, the improvement from last season, because you finished 6-5 last season. Talk about finishing from 6-5 last season and the improvement to this year from going 7-1.
Well, we had a lot of injuries last year, but we all got 10 seniors, and when you got that many seniors, it means a lot. It's an 8-man.
Yeah.
We'll probably rebuild next year, but you take it when you can get it.
Coach, this is Russ Robinson. I remember where the old Tallulah High School was down in Tallulah, Louisiana. And I've watched. My dad lived in Texas, and I had to go back and forth. So I always saw it to my right when I was headed to Texas. The new facility, they did it right in that facility, didn't they?
Yes.
It's just amazing to me. Everything fits together, and your football complex in the back. It's nicely done, by the way.
Thank
you. You still got to draw kids, right? To that area, you got to draw them to your school.
Correctly, yes.
All right. So does the facilities, is that what helps you draw kids?
Well, I mean, right now we don't have any facilities. A tornado hit us in May, and our school's gone.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Stadium. We still play our stadium, but our school is. It missed our elementary, but it took our high school and gymnasium. Everything's gone.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Everything's gone?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I didn't know that. I guess
Yeah,
that shows how long it's been.
We're in portable buildings right now.
Oh.
Portable
I play
buildings.
all our basketball games on the road.
Oh, man. Coach, I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're lucky our kids were out of school, our principal let them out. Didn't come to school that day. It was bad weather, and right about 2:30 it hit.
Whoa! What a story! It really makes your football team, appreciate where they are right now at 7-1.
Oh yes. I mean, we just took with that. Everybody stuck around, and
Coach, one last question before we let you go. Do you know who we're playing, or y'all are playing tonight, next week in the playoffs? Coach, you there?
We lose him?
We lose you?
Huh.
Oh.
Yeah. It was,
maybe
that wasn't the tornado.
Yeah.
Oh, not tonight.
Yeah,
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, I didn't know that happened either. Yeah, I think we lost him.
I think we did.
I think we lost him. That was Tallulah Academy head coach Bart Wood. Thank you for joining us on. Congratulations on a nice win. That was yeah, I did not know that happened.
I didn't either.
Well, another thing there, we've got 2 more weeks left in MHSAA. The 8-man starts playoff action next Friday night.
Next week, and I will get the brackets in Monday, and then I'll just start working on those, and I'll report those next week.
All right, you're going to get that information to Dr. Dave, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
So we can get it on the website. All right, I'm going to let George give some scores while Joseph Craven gets ready to step in and sit high in the air chair.
Okay, Russ. Hattiesburg defeated Wayne County 35-6. I'm just kind of really going over some of the bigger games of the night. Clinton defeated Grenada 12-6. South Panola beat DeSoto Central 35-0. Warren Central defeated Terry 35-0. Starkville over Oxford 47-28. It was North Pike defeating Raymond 24-19. Morton over Forest 28-14. Northwest Rankin beat Pearl 48-34. And Biloxi edged Pascagoula by the score of 15-14.
And that Biloxi team, that's one of the best teams they've had in some time.
Yeah, Biloxi and Gulfport are good, and as well as Ocean Springs. So a lot of good teams on the Gulf Coast this year.
All right, well, here on the Scoreboard Show tonight, it's rare when 2 guys who know each other pretty well, like Joseph and I do, get to call a ball game, and and then they get to do a scoreboard show in the same night. And I got to tell you, Joseph, this is a big game. Everybody, was up because Hartfield had beaten Prep 2 times last year. And, the bands were out there and the dance teams were out there. And there was a lot of offense. There was some hard licks on defense. But I got to tell you what I took away from the game. Boy, the cheeseburgers y'all make in that concession stand are really good.
Hey, there you go. That was always my pregame tradition. I'd make a couple of laps around. I'd speak to some of the coaches.
Right.
I'd go to the concession stand. I'd steal a couple of burgers. I wouldn't tell anybody. Yeah. So.
Well, they're good. They had that cheese in there melted just right.
Perfect.
All right, this is a program. Talk to me about Hartfield. I mean, this has been coming for about 2 or 3 years, and I told people about 3 years ago, I said, look out, because this is going to be a program that people are going to have to deal with.
Well, I mean, if you go back even to the fact that the school itself, you're talking about a school that is just in its 11th year of
Yeah,
existence.
yeah.
And I was just telling, Ty out here before I came in about how enrollment-wise, I want to say we're maybe the second largest private school in the state, K through 12 enrollment. And so there's something going on with the school in general.
It's called David Horner.
It might just be. He's got that effect. Yeah. But there's something going on, and it's it's matriculating itself down to the athletic programs, of course, reaping the benefits there. And so yeah, exactly right. It's a lot of good growth.
Well, and your basketball and baseball was excellent last year and competitive in everywhere, but you made a coaching change a couple of years ago and brought in a coach not a lot of people knew about, but they're getting to know who he is now.
Oh, Craig Bowman?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if, exactly. Yeah, that was it. I wasn't sure if you were going to say something about Bill Ball and basketball. Yeah, no one knows
I
who
know
that is.
Bill, yeah.
Absolutely. Craig Bowman, who I actually had the pleasure of crossing paths with years ago when I was fresh out of college at Belhaven, working at Belhaven, and he was offensive coordinator at Belhaven. And so I actually knew him from a while ago. We got to reconnect. But, yeah, he came in. He had a little bit of head coaching history. I believe he was at Canton Academy briefly.
Right.
Came over to Hartfield or came back to Hartfield, whatever it was. And what was interesting is that the head coach of Hartfield, Jeff McFerrin, had decided he was going to step down from the head coaching role. And he wanted to, I think he had just had his first grandchild, maybe, wanted to have a little, how it goes, how that life is. So he stepped into the defensive coordinator role and just decided that's where he wanted to be. Craig Bowman took over, and his energy and enthusiasm, it really shows in the way that the players respond to him and how they kind of attach themselves to him.
Well, and not only that, I mean, the fans have responded.
Yeah.
You got the tents on both sides behind the goalpost.
Which I've noticed a few other schools in the area doing the same. It's a pretty good trend. I like that it's growing.
And you guys started it. I got to tell you, I didn't see. Well, now Petal. Harold would disagree with us.
That's good.
Petal has done it over the years. All right, now you lose this one tonight, and your gift for that is that you get to end the season with MRA. Your thoughts on that game coming up very quickly?
I don't even. Do I have to? Well, of course, it's difficult to go up against. Are they 3-time defending champ? Is it 3 years in a row? I believe.
Yeah.
Right. I guess the good news is that we come out of this and Prep and Hartfield have flip-flopped in the standings now.
Right.
Prep jumping up to second place, Hartfield in third place. There's not as much going into that game that determines seeding that will affect it as much.
Correct.
It's pretty much third, maybe fourth. That's about it for the Hawks. And so the good
But you don't want to be fourth because you have to open up with MRA.
MRA, exactly. So you don't want that. You want to hold on to third if you can. But I guess the thought process being that not as much. There was a lot more riding on tonight than next week. And tonight went to the Patriots. So next week is a little bit more about getting right for playoffs and trying to make that splash when playoffs start up.
I was really impressed with Maxwell tonight and Jessica Lasky.
Yeah, good enough, close enough.
Close enough.
Yep.
I was very impressed with him, and and your defense hits hard. I think it's a very good football team, and I don't think we've heard the last of them this year even.
Probably not. And I will say on the flip side of that Paxton Thompson, that might have been one of the best performances that he's ever had in his career. That was an outstanding performance from him.
He took some licks and paid for it. I'll tell you what, that defensive end over there, and then your offensive right tackle, they should give him 75 and 76 on his jersey. He's huge.
He's huge. He'll come into my office sometimes at the school to ask me a question, and the nicest kid in the world, and he makes me feel like a midget. I'm 6'3". He makes me feel like a tiny child.
Well, Andy Brown's got to be thinking of that too because he had to face him all night long. Thanks so much, Joe, for the game tonight and the hospitality and even Paul Fry.
You didn't notice I was throwing things at you from the press box then, if you're thinking.
Well, I heard things going past me, and it especially picked up after we picked up the last test of the night. Good luck next week over there against MRA. Joseph Craven, who is the voice of the Hartfield Hawks. I don't hear the music. There's the music. I see Jason Klein has got to strike up the band. A lot of people ask us where we got this. A couple of us got together and kind of banged it out in the garage one afternoon. This music? Probably not. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back with the WSN Live Coach's Corner and Matt Caldwell on tonight. We'll be back.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Welcome back to Friday night Under the Lights. Can you believe this? We're in the last segment tonight.
Yes, and I wish you hadn't talked about those hamburgers the last segment.
All right, we'll have to drag Jason Klein. We'll have to go somewhere.
I remember though when you used to, you brought
I
those
brought
from
'em.
Prep, and Prep you have ground beef, you have ground sirloin. That was really good. Anyway,
There is a difference. There is a difference. That's right. It's time now for the WSN Live Coach's Corner, brought to you by WSN. A lot of people doing the streaming these days, and your high school may be sitting there saying, well, we'd like to get into that. WSNLive.com is where all the information is and how your team, your school, can get it. It's not just football. I mean, it's everything that they do. And joining us now is Matt Caldwell, who is up at Heritage Academy, along with Lance Pogue up there at Heritage Academy. Good evening, sir. How you doing?
Hey, evening, man. Y'all talking about concession stand. Pilla had the concession stand strategically placed right where you had to walk past it going back to the locker room. I could smell that every time I walk by.
They were baiting you, man.
They were baiting, that's right.
Do you have any skeeters out there tonight?
You know, it wasn't bad tonight. It was kind of nice, kind of cool. They have a great facility there at Pilla. First time I'd ever been there. But it was a great facility, a great night for football. Couldn't ask for any better night.
Every time I've been up there, the mosquitoes have been bad. In fact, I thought I saw them carrying off a small dog one time. I mean, they just go down and get really bad. Do they still have that spiraling staircase going up to the press box?
No, it looks like a new press box, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Kind of got the good old-fashioned stairs going up to it now without a spiral staircase.
I like that. All right, talk to me about the ball game and your football team tonight.
Well, I got a great opportunity to work for Lance Pogue, and he does an outstanding job. Tonight we went to Pilla, with the district championship on the line, and kind of come out of the gate a little slow. It was 14-10 at the half. Jack Ketchum had a 1-yard run for a touchdown, and Jay Stevenson had about a 35-yard run for a touchdown. They kicked a field goal right before half to make it 14-10. We come out and kicked off. Second half, the ball goes out of bounds. So we're all send the defense out there. Couldn't take ball on 35. Well, they wanted us to re-kick it. So we re-kick it. They fumble it to us. We go down and score on another Jay Stevenson run. We make a punt, get it back. Jack Ketchum takes it in on an option. and then we ended up scoring in the third. We scored 21 points in the third quarter and made it 35-10, and then they scored one late to make it 35-17. So that puts us, I believe, the number 1 seed. We do get next week off, and then we'll play the winner of, I believe, Pillow and Silliman in the second round.
That when you mentioned Lance Pogue, I mean, both of you guys have been very successful everywhere you've been. You've had good kids to work with. I got a chance to see you, obviously, second week of the season this year. I was impressed with Jack Ketchum. Is he a junior?
Yeah, Jack's a junior. He's done a real good job for us, and directing the offense, and he's got some good guys. Trey Nard's been big for us on the outside of receiver. He had another big catch tonight. Of course, Jay Stevenson in the backfield. He's had a great year. He does an outstanding job as well. And, Luke Fisher's a guy Luke's kind of like Swiss Army knife for us. He plays linebacker, comes on our offense, plays tight end. He plays a little tailback, plays a little receiver. He does a little bit of everything. So those guys kind of make us go offensively.
So Heritage back, I think they went to the state championship last year and won it, didn't you? Or was that 2 years? Yeah, you did win it last year.
I was last year. Yeah, Sean Harrison, who's now our headmaster, he was the head coach then, and so he got the thing rolling, and Lance has come in and kept it going in the same direction. And I'm just happy they let me come out there and be a part, man. So I'm excited about that.
Well, I know that I have a DVD that had the championship that you won at Mize, and the dance that you had after the game.
Man. That was 22 years ago. That's quite a long time ago, man.
Well, it's a record that stands today.
I don't know if I can move like that anymore.
No, the answer is no. Trust me. Look, you've been on the MHSA side. You've been on the MAIS side. What is the caliber of football of both?
I'm going to tell you what, when that ball's kicked off, it's football. And that's something I've come to realize is these kids put in just as much work and work just as hard and play just as hard and want to win just as bad as anybody else in the state of Mississippi. So it's good football. I think that, the kids are kids, and, football's football. And, last year when I was at PCS, we're sitting there playing prep and MRA and those guys, Hartfield, especially talking about Hartfield. And, man, all those teams are amazing. They're really, really good football teams. And, this year we're playing, Lamar's coming on. I think Simpsons and Capaya are really, really good. So, the 5A playoffs are going to be tough.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I think it's good football, man. These kids get after it. I like the way they play.
Well, I'll tell you, Lamar had a great hire in Jacob Land. I think that he is going to turn that program around.
Yeah, Jacob's a good football coach, and I think he's got them. They had a tough road early. They played a lot of 6A schools early. But those guys are trending in the right. I think they beat League 40-something to 16 tonight or something like that. So he's got them trending in the right direction for sure. And, I think Capaya and Simpson are really good. And Simpson's got like 20 seniors, I think. And Capaya, Coach Hankins over there, he's done a really good job. So 5A is going to be, there's a lot of good teams in 5A MAIS. And, it should be number.
Well, Matt Caldwell, we're going to let you go. We thank you for staying up with us late tonight. And but you and Lance were going to sit around and watch a little film anyway, weren't you?
Yeah, that's a little late for me now. We're way past my bedtime. I get to watch 9 in the morning.
Okay. Matt, it's always good to talk to you. Give our best to Melissa.
We'll do it. Thanks, Russ.
All righty.
Man.
Thank you, man. All right. That's a good guy right there. That's a good guy. Matt Caldwell, who's on the coaching staff there at Heritage Academy. And I think he makes a good point that 5A in the MAIS is going to be very, very exciting.
And much improved over the last couple of years.
Much improved. In fact, you see a lot of those 5A teams playing teams like
Yeah.
6As, the Preps and the MRAs, etc., and holding their own.
Right.
It's a
Right.
good league. You know, one of the things that we've started doing here on Friday Night on the Lights is we got together with the folks at Cricket Wireless, and we mentioned this at the beginning of the show, and Noah's here to talk to us about it. Is that we wanted to come up with a player of the week like we did last year, but you know, there's so many good players, and it's to your point. So we went and we talked with the folks at Cricket, and they said, well, let's do North and South, and so we drew the line somewhere around Jackson, and you got the North half and the South half. So we're going to have a Cricket Wireless player of the week, and Noah Crow, who has been with us now. He started as an intern with us. He is handling that for us now. And so, Noah, I'd like for you to talk about who has had this award up to now and how someone can nominate, someone from their school. I think you've already had one nomination tonight.
On week 7, we have Lamar Stewart, quarterback and defensive back from Neshoba County. He went 11 of 15 passing, 292 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Also had 2 interceptions, as they won 44-7 over Kemper Academy.
That's 5 touchdowns total?
5 touchdowns total.
And 2 picks. Wow, that's a good night. He deserved that Cricket Wireless plaque. Yeah, he sure did.
Also, we had Jaden Robertson from Northeast Jones, sophomore running back. He had 20 carries, 117 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, and 1 fumble return for a touchdown. And the Tigers winning 35-7 over Richland.
All right, who else?
In week 8, we had DJ Biggs, quarterback from Christian Collegiate Academy, the coach from the 8-man segment last week.
There you go.
The quarterback rushed for 163 yards and had 2 touchdowns. He also had two two-point conversions passed for 75 yards and a touchdown thrown. And he had 5 touchdowns and an impressive interception on defense.
Good gracious. A lot of scores.
And to nominate your player, you can go to our website at FNUTL, the FNUTL website, or you can send them on me on Twitter or Facebook at Noah T. Crow on Twitter or Noah Crow on Facebook.
All right, so they got plenty of places to find you and make that nomination, and you want to get those in early, don't you? Because the people that do the plaques have to get them out and crank them out. So congratulations to those young men. And I understand the Cricket Wireless folks are the ones that are going to these pep rallies and handing it to these guys.
They are. They're the ones handing the trophy and delivering it. I'll be there at a few of them.
Okay, good. Well, we messed up this week because I was in charge of it. So guess who's in charge of it now? Noah T. Crow. Okay, so good job on that tonight. And again, if they want to get in touch with you,
do it on Twitter at Noah T. Crow or Facebook Noah Crow or FNUTL.com.
Very good. Fastest 2 hours of sports talk, and we're going to get on that poster out here at MPB at some point. I already talked to Liz. I see Jason kind of shaking his head. Big thanks to Jason Klein for producing tonight, along with Chris Saxon and Joel Norris, George Broadstreet, and me. I drive the bus. Russ Robinson saying have a great weekend. It will be Halloween next weekend. Should be a great night for football. Have a great weekend. Good night, everyone.